This is the Dallas Morning News. It's Friday, October 18th. It will be sunny and pleasant in Dallas today with a high of 81, clear skies tonight with a low of 56. The weekend will be a near carbon copy with a high of 83 each day and a low of 57. Here are today's headlines. The Texas Supreme Court blocked the execution of Robert Roberson late last night, directing state officials to allow the death row inmate to comply with a subpoena issued by a House committee for his testimony. The order capped a string of court hearings in Austin as the Texas Department of Criminal Justice prepared to put Roberson to death more than 100 miles away in Huntsville. In a brief order issued around 9:40 p.m., the High Court said state corrections officials were temporarily barred from impairing Roberson's ability to comply with a subpoena issued a day earlier to appear before the Texas House Criminal Jurisprudence Committee, including by executing Mr. Roberson until further order of this court. The evening ruling by the Texas Supreme Court does not vacate the conviction. More legal sparring in a lower court will follow in the coming weeks as the parties work to resolve the separation of powers issue. Earlier in the day, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals cleared the way for the execution to proceed, overruling an order by State District Judge Jessica Mangrum in Travis County that halted the state's plans. After the Travis County hearing, the Texas Attorney General's office swiftly appealed to the state's highest criminal court. The lawmakers on the House committee then appealed to the Texas Supreme Court. In a joint statement, Republican Representative Jeff Leach of Plano and Democrat Representative Joe Moody of El Paso marked the High Court's order as a legal victory that corrects how they say the criminal justice system, at multiple levels, has fallen short in Roberson's case. In other news, a former professor and administrator at Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in Fort Worth pleaded guilty to a felony this week after being charged with making a false statement to FBI investigators. Matt Queen served as a professor and interim provost at Southwestern, the largest Baptist seminary in Texas. Queen was charged in May with making a false statement to federal agents and falsifying evidence relevant to the Justice Department's investigation. The government allowed him to plead guilty only to making false statements and is dismissing the other charge. Schmidt said the sentencing guidelines in this case are 0 to 6 months in prison, and he expects Queen will not serve jail time. Next up, Dallas drivers planning to use eastbound Interstate 20 this weekend should expect delays as a section of the highway is closed for ongoing construction. The Texas Department of Transportation will close all lanes of eastbound I-20 between Cockrell Hill Road and Hampton Road from 10 p.m. Friday to 5 a.m. Saturday. The eastbound I-20 on-ramp from Cockrell Hill Road will also be closed. Drivers will be detoured and should anticipate slowdowns in the area. All lanes of Kirnwood Boulevard and Westmoreland Road will also close between the east and westbound I-20 frontage roads during that time. And speaking of driving, if you've ever found driving in Texas a painful experience, you might have a good reason. Texas is the 10th worst state to drive in. That's according to a new report by MoneyGeek. The analysis ranked driving in all 50 states based on a combination of traffic, transportation costs, safety, road infrastructure, and weather. The report analyzed data from the Federal Highway Administration, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, U.S. Census Bureau, FBI, and more. Texas ranked 12th in the nation for the worst congestion and 16th for the worst safety. Analysts examined average morning commute times and miles traveled per lane mile to assess congestion. The report examined fatal crashes per 100,000 people and car thefts per 100,000 vehicles to evaluate safety. Both the Texas Department of Transportation and several major cities, including Dallas, have signed onto Vision Zero plans aimed at eliminating traffic fatalities and reducing serious injuries. Texas came in 24th for the worst infrastructure, 26th for the worst costs, and 28th for the worst weather. The cost category includes factors like gas prices, annual car maintenance costs, toll expenses, and average insurance premiums. Analysts looked at the number of roads and bridges in acceptable condition for the infrastructure category and the number of fatal crashes per 100,000 people in both snowy and rainy conditions to rank weather. Thanks for listening. For more on today's stories and for the latest breaking news, visit dallasnews.com. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll be back on Monday with more from the Dallas Morning News.